I'm at the Water Tower Inn with Rusty McCarthy. Tonight he's going to be releasing a CD. But before we get to the CD, I'd like to go through some of your musical background, where you were brought up, if you're a Suite or you were brought up somewhere. Where were you raised?
Well, I was raised in Quebec, in Sept-Îles, which is above the Labrador border. On the St. Lawrence, North Shore of the St. Lawrence. And I guess I moved to the sea when I was 18 or 19. I lasted for about 2 years here, and then I moved down to Toronto. And sort of hung around there. And the last 30 several years I've spent down in Toronto. And then I moved back about 5 years ago. So most of my musical education has taken place down in Toronto.
When did you start playing the guitar and what?
Well, I started was in Quebec. I was 16. I used to play in a band. I was the only English guy, and the rest of the guys were French. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but after a year or so, I got used to it. Whatever.
And I'm given to understand that your favorite kind of music are the blues, or
well, now it is, because there's sort of a demand for it. That it keeps you working in a way, right? If you do gigs in bars, you got to do something that bars usually pay for. And that's one of them.
But you're a busy man too. You basically play with almost every musician in town.
Well, I do lots of stuff. I have a little studio here, so I've always got my fingers in the different pies and going on. But no, there's lots of bands I don't play with. There's only 3 or 4 places to play in town, so
sure.
I generally don't play at Reggie's.
No.
I usually do Wednesday nights here, and then I have some gigs down in Toronto that I do consistently.
Yeah, how often do you go down there to?
Oh geez. Like once a month, I'm on the road going down there. Sometimes not for gigs, but sometimes.
Where do you usually play when you go down there?
Well, the last little while was the Horseshoe. I do a yearly St. Patrick's Day at the Horseshoe, and I'm playing the Painted Lady coming up next weekend, and some other little performance space on Richmond Street in Toronto a couple of days before that.
I see you have a lot of videos on YouTube from the Toronto area.
Well, yeah, some from Toronto. There's some from New York City. The sax player David Sanborn's show. It used to come on right after Saturday Night Live. It was that was a treat to do. So I did a show with Sting and
Oh, did you?
Rufus Thomas. He was another guy who was on the show. He's the guy who did Walking the Dog. So we were like the unknowns on the show, but with Mary Margaret O'Hara.
Well, that must have put you on the
New
map,
York
though.
experience, and I've played in LA and over in Europe and stuff.
But that experience must have put you on the map somewhat.
Not really, because the woman I'm playing with is pretty. She's very. I don't know. She hides herself well. She's like,
Okay, let's.
It's an underground artist, I guess you'd call her. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the Toronto area. Eh?
I guess. I mean, she doesn't even want to go out and play, so it's like.
Okay, you said you played with one specific band in town here. Who are the other members of your band?
In town, where I usually play this Ed Young is the drummer, and bass player is Lindsay Pugh, and Lynn Reveal. And just pure coincidence, they all teach down at Tom Walls Music. So
Oh, is that right?
it's like that's what they do, right?
How about Britta? How often do you get along with her?
Britta, I just sort of, she got into this thing on this project, and ever since then I've tried to keep do a little folk thing and keep that style of music going, but it's hard, right?
Everybody has their own lives.
Well, it's, acoustic guitars and stuff. It's kind of, you can't take it into a bar. No one will hire you to do it, so it's kind of hard to keep it alive, right? So.
Tell us about your production studio. What do you do? Work strictly for yourself, or do you do work?
No, I do other people. I just finished off a project with a woman from Blind River, who was like a country singer. She wanted to do a bunch of old Hank Williams and pretty much that kind of material, and so that was kind of fun to do. And
is it somewhat profitable for you?
Well, not really. I'll only have maybe 2 or 3 projects a year, so.
But there's not too many people that do that in town.
There's not too much demand either, and that's the reason why, right? It's not like everyone's out going to make records. You might get 4 or 5 people a year who are going to make a CD in the Sioux, and some of them will go to their friends' place because anyone can do it nowadays, right? So, and I mean, I've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, but you have.
So in the last year, I've done Asylum Country, their CD. Oh, geez. Two of my CDs, Don Charbonneau's CD, the guy behind you, and someone else had just Guy Smith.
Yeah.
Guy Smith's CD. That's right. So I've had like 4 or 5 CDs this year. It keeps me moderately busy. It's not like I'm going all the time, right? So
you're pretty busy every week.
Well, because I play here every week, but other than that, it's. And this time of year your calendar gets pretty full. But at the end of next Wednesday or Thursday, it's just a big snowstorm on my calendar, right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's always this Wednesday night here, but
you usually get together with Lady Sings the Blues here, don't you?
Yeah, they're playing next Wednesday, and I'm doing my blues CD release next Wednesday.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
We'll
which is all in preparation for a tour I'm doing in Ireland at the end of March. So I thought, I'm doing a blues tour. I thought I better have a blues CD. So
how long is that tour going to last?
well, it's not very long. It's only 2 or 3 weeks. And Ireland's a pretty small country, so you can drive from the top to the bottom in 8 hours. So
yeah, just like from here to Toronto.
Yeah, pretty much. So the whole country takes place in there, and it's a great place to go to. I love going to places in Europe that you can understand the language. Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You go to Germany, it's like you go there, and it's like it sounds funny, but they're speaking English. Right? So,
why don't you tell us a little bit about your CD that you're going to release tonight?
It's a Celtic kind of folk thing. You've heard a couple of songs we did down at the station, but tonight we have the luxury of having Sheldon playing some fiddle, and we have Pat O'Gorman from the Golden Triad who plays Irish whistles and stuff like that. So it should be a good evening for that. It sort of started when I went to Ireland a couple of years ago. I just kind of got, really appreciated the down. They sort of have like you walk into a pub and a couple of guys that stroll in the door, and the guy will start playing the accordion, and then the guy will start playing the fiddle. And it's just all of a sudden this thing starts growing in the corner by the fire, right? And there's no PA system or nothing. The guys just start singing and drinking reels, and everyone's going. It's not like big amplified or anything, but it's such a great homey kind of thing in this little tiny pub that you wander into. I thought, it's great to do that kind of music. And I thought I'd like to do something that's just acoustic guitar, guys sitting around playing. I maybe went too far because my roots are rock and R&B, so it's like I'm always trying to, it's hard to skim it down, right? So.
Yeah, but you've been known to know all different genres.
Well, yeah, I know I can play it, but it's just hard when you're producing it yourself to like put the reins on it and go. I'm just going to do this song with me and the fiddle, But I want to go me and the fiddle, bass player. It's just like I want to color it all up, right? So.
What's the feature song on this CD?
I don't know. The guy from CBC picked a song that I would never. It was called "On My Way," and I thought that was the last song I worked on, and I hated it the most, and I wasn't going to put it on. And sure enough, it's the song that he picked to play on CBC's Fresh Air, and for Best New Artist. Right? And I went, so anyway, most people like the one about the canoe, the song that you like. Whenever we play it, they go, "Oh, I like the one about the Black Flies," or the or the Beaver Hotel. So.
Yeah. And the name of the CD is?
It's called "Letter to Kilkenny," which is sort of a lot of the songs. About half the songs are sort of got a Celtic, Irish kind of bass to them, and the other half are kind of like North Superior kind of. Buster gets on a train and horn pain and stuff. So it's just, so I've been trying to marry those two cultures together. And, so I thought I'd call it "Letter to Kilkenny," which is basically it was a CD I was doing for some friends who lived in Kilkenny.
Okay, you have something coming up tomorrow night too, don't you?
I'm in Manitoulin Island playing the same thing as tonight, a little house concert with me and Britta and her husband Chad. And Saturday night we have Blues for Food.
Yeah, that's
we do a concert with Lady Sings the Blues, and there's a couple of other, Al Davis and Stewart. We're going to sing, basically it's a fundraiser, and people drop off food at the door or donate cash.
And that's going to be here?
It's here, and then next Wednesday my blues CD.
Okay.
With Lady Sings the Blues again.
Okay, thank you very much for doing this.
You got it.
And break a leg.
All right, thanks.
To a fishing town, the same Atlantic Ocean, and possibly wild. It's not